that will work. And yes, it did work. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour here at Enlightened World Network. We're so glad you're here with us. Karen Palmer and I are the hosts, and we have some guests that we're so excited about today. Before we bring everybody on, there's a couple of announcements I want to make. So while I'm making those, you can hit that share button and share, because sharing is caring. The first announcement is that tonight at 7 p.m., our own Deb Goldberg hosts a show on Gratitude. This is Gratitude. She hosts a show on Angel Heart Radio. And tonight her guests are Dr. Ruth Anderson and myself, Teri Angel. So tune in at 7 o'clock tonight to hear us ladies just have a great conversation there. We hope that you can tune in. That's Angel Heart Radio. You can find that on Facebook. There's a page called Angel Heart Radio. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., Enlightened World will bring you a meditation a day. We do that daily, and they're at different times. So I wanted to make sure that you had the time for tomorrow. On Saturday, we have a lovely treat. During this time of separation and isolation, Dr. Ruth Anderson had the idea of, why don't we sit around the table virtually? Why don't we invite people to come and have dinner with us? Bring your own dinner. Just sit and have a conversation like you would have at your dinner table. That's going to happen Saturday at 4 p.m. These are all Eastern time, by the way. 4 p.m. Eastern time. The Reverend Gerald Ann Peterson will be the host of that dinner. Gerald Ann was recently ordained as a minister, and she will have her teachers, Doctors Jane and Philip Mountrose, present at the table. And we will just have a celebration with Gerald Ann. Come join in that celebration. And then after that, at 8 o'clock, Gerald Ann has a show every week on Enlightened World called Rising Up with Gerald Ann, and that's at 8 o'clock Eastern. On Sunday morning, we will do our normal 10 o'clock silent meditation, and we hope that you'll be able to join in for that as well. Aren't we busy? And aren't we just loving life, being busy right now during this time? I know I am. I'm online a lot, and I love it. And I love it's not a distraction, it's a ministry. And as much as we can serve right now, that's what we're called to do. And that's what all of us that are sitting here right now, present on this show, are called to do. And we're going to talk about that. Karen, hello, my dear partner for Gratitude Happy Hour. How are you today?
I'm doing just wonderful, Teri. Thank you so much for inviting me and being on this wonderful show with all of our beautiful panelists. I am just so excited about the work that you're doing with Enlightened World. It's really, really so important right now. I feel, what I've noticed is what we focus on expands, and what you have done, you and Ruth and Deb, the three of you with Enlightened Network, with all the amazing people that are part of the network, but the three of you have really come to the calling of being present and really showing up and focusing on how can we connect in these difficult physical times where we have to be distanced from each other physically, but how do we socially stay connected? And I think you've really done that. I love the come to the table. I think that is such a fun thing to do. And I love the silent meditations so much because, the silence is where we hear the answers. It really is. And the being in silence with such beautiful, kind, loving, supportive people who are, really in their essence, living their purpose, living from their essence space. And that's what all three of you do, I feel, so much and so beautifully. So I'm honored to be a part of being this expansion of love and kindness.
Thank you for your words. It
and really, gratitude.
really does feel great, doesn't it? Yeah, I love it. I want to introduce Dr. Ruth Anderson, who is the founder of Enlightened World Network. And Enlightened World is our platform that's presenting the Broader Edge. Ruth, welcome.
Thank you, Teri. It is such an honor to be here with you all. Thank you.
So glad you're here. I want to introduce Sheila Cash. This is no particular order. I'm just seeing your face and I'm saying your name. So hi, Sheila Cash. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Teri. And I have just so enjoyed collaborating with all of you in recent weeks and months, and am so just really on fire with all the work that you're doing, spreading out globally and collaborating and coming together at this critical time. And I just want to, I'm very grateful. This is the gratitude hour, and that's really something I'm grateful for.
Oh, well, thank you for expressing that gratitude. We love gratitude here. Thank you, Sheila. And Elisabeth Williams, our own Liz. Thank you, honey, for being here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's amazing. And it's amazing to be in this global sisterhood and to be part of it. Mira said something on our last gathering about many of us have maybe felt like we didn't fit in our lives growing up, that type of thing. And it is so amazing to be in a place where we feel like we fit in just by being ourselves. And I'm just thrilled and so grateful for this sisterhood. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it does feel good to fit in. And Mira, our beautiful Mira Rubin, welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour.
I am so delighted to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what Enlightened World has created, Ruth and Teri and Deb, it's a phenomenon. It is absolutely a phenomenon. I've never seen anything like the wave of generous and loving spirit that has come through this, all the programming, and the opportunity that you're presenting to us to be a part of it and to share in this. I'm just so deeply grateful and in awe, really, of what you've created.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's beautiful to watch Enlightened World grow, even since I became involved with it. When we did the summit last summer, and that was just amazing. And then after that, it just kind of took on a life of its own, didn't it, Ruth?
Archangel Michael has big plans, and all you have to do is listen and follow through. And whatever you're working on, if it's in alignment with that, will explode, I promise you. And it'll explode quickly. It's awe-inspiring to be part of it, really.
It's hard to imagine that it was just less than a year ago. What's occurred in the space of less than a year, like substantially less than a year, is unimaginable, really. Looking at it, I'm dumbstruck by it. Truly.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch. And speaking of something that came together quickly, let's talk about the Broader Edge. Who would like to run with that?
Go for it, ladies.
Well,
I'm going to start.
Okay.
The ladies have been in conversation about a burning passion that they have to be able to come together and put their voices out there on topics that are not typical conversations. And they wanted to each come and stand in their own strength of what did they bring to the table, and each be heard, but come together as one. And the conversation came around about having a show, kind of like what you would see on mainstream TV, but very different. And they asked if I would participate in it. And my offering was to bring them Enlightened World Network as a platform. And so with that, they've come together and created this beautiful offering called The Broader Edge, which is going to premiere next Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on Enlightened World Network on Facebook Live and YouTube Live.
Yes, and wasn't it fun to create this, ladies?
It just happened very organically, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we met in as an offshoot of a global group that we were all involved in, and just really found that our conversations were going very deep, very quickly, being so dynamic. And we realized that we were all on a mission to explore new ways of being right now, especially for our what we perceive as being a radically changed future, and just wanting to take the opportunity to explore what our new values are. What can they be? What should they be? What do we want them to be? Just, talking about refining what really matters now. I think a lot of people are experiencing changes in their own values, just wanting to sort of crystallize the clarity for ourselves and for everyone in an exploration. Who are we now? And what do we want, and how do we get there?
The amazing thing too about this, though, is that we initiated it before the whole virus
That's right.
epidemic. And what I think we all got to recognize is that we have a rather different perspective on the issues of the world, in that we're coming from a spiritual or a holistic place, a place of connection rather than separation, a place of love rather than fear. And that was something that we all were really inspired to move from collectively and to share more publicly, engage people in that kind of dynamic.
And our backgrounds are different, and what we bring is different. We come with different perspectives, and yet they're complementary. And I think that's what we found so quickly. Was in our first gathering, there were the four of us were there just talking away, and we did have common values and common beliefs and dreams, and yet where we've come from and what our knowledge base is, and that type of thing, our experiences were different, and that's what was so beautiful. And so we felt like this is a conversation that wasn't just for us. We felt that others could really benefit from being part of that conversation, and that's what we wanted to offer.
And I love the name, the Broader Edge. Where is that? Where did that kind of come from? And maybe you could give a little just description of the show itself.
Yeah.
Well, we're edgy broads.
That was it.
And we're willing to really take on the conversations that might be pushing the boundaries a bit.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That is such a great answer, and it's so true, because our world really needs our voices, and it really needs not just the experience of people who feel comfortable sharing whatever they want to share, but people who are on that edge, that are saying, I'm going to push the envelope a little bit here because I feel like this is a topic that needs to be discussed.
Yes.
And I love that about all of you, because you all really exude authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And just authenticity is such an important thing in this world right now. So if I was just to ask you a question, each one of you, where do you feel this could really, really benefit somebody who is listening right now? I'll let Liz go first.
Okay, well, I hope it will give individuals who are with us the confidence and the courage to trust their own inner knowing. They know that the way we're living now is not sustainable. There are a lot of things that we're hoping will change, particularly as a result of what's happening now. And they might feel like they're alone in that thinking. And I hope that what they realize is they are not alone. And we need, as you said, Karen, everyone's voice. So I really, really hope they'll become part of that conversation and be inspired to act on things that we talk about as well.
And Mira?
What I hope is that we are able to truly broaden people's perspectives. And I think that we hold in common a deep commitment to supporting people in the expression of their purpose and mission, and really fuller or full expression of their unique voice. And so by opening up a dialogue beyond what's maybe a conventional perspective, we are we're modeling for other people the opportunity to think more freely and independently.
Oh, I love that. And Teri?
I love both of their answers.
I know, great answers. I mean,
I
it's going to
know,
have a
right?
great show.
And yes, my hope is that it will be inspiring, that people will keep coming back. You know, why do we watch anything, whether it's TV, YouTube, movies? Because it piques our interest. We're like, I want to know what that's about. And we had thrown out a couple of names before we landed on the broader edge, but we wanted something that let people know this isn't going to be your mama's regular show. It's cutting edge, and it's really giving people an opportunity to think outside the box and to hear different viewpoints and say, you know, I can get something from that. I can benefit from that. And maybe I could do that. You know, so be inspiring to people to, like Mira said, to use their authentic voice, to speak up. People want to be seen and heard right now and acknowledged. So I think this, even though, like we said, the timing, it didn't come because of what's going on, but it's divine timing, because here we are in the midst of what's happening, and this is starting now. So the timing couldn't have been more perfect.
I love that. It's so beautiful. Divine timing is so beautiful. And Sheila, what would you like to see from this?
You know, I was thinking about the word edge, and we did explore the word edge and the word broad and broader, and had some really interesting interpretations of those. But when we used to talk about edgy or edge, we tended, it often meant one person or one group that was kind of going beyond, and so they were considered to be edgy. But now we're talking about our whole species is going beyond. We're all going beyond now. And so that does bring a much broader edge. And, what does broader mean in this context? Well, not relying on the way that things have been before, including new ways of being with people, just like you're talking about the dinner, the dinners that you're hosting. And that actually inspired me to have a holiday Easter dinner with about 15 of my relatives by Zoom. And we had an Easter bunny there, as had his own screen as well. So, we have a whole new way of being together. And collaborating for even, for enterprising. How can we, people are flooding online even more now, and coming together with missions and purpose in ways that they hadn't before. So, I'd like to inspire, just being able to think even more globally, but also how to support both local and global missions. How can we do that? And we're all navigating this new edge together. Mm-hmm. And so, we welcome the comments and the support from all the listeners as well. What are their ideas? Where are we? Where are we going?
Yeah. And let's hear from Dr. Ruth Anderson on this viewpoint as well.
I really believe that all light workers are being called to step up in ways that they had not been asked to step up before. Mm-hmm. And I also believe we've all been prepared for this time. And we all chose to come in to this realm during this time. But I look at these four women, Teri and Liz and Sheila and Mira, and not only have they all stepped up to the plate in ways that they weren't actually prepared to do, some of them, but they've come together so beautifully to do it. and to be able to support each of these heart-centered, spirit-led women to come together in this position of strength is such an honor. So I really hope that anybody watching this show would feel comfortable to know that they're in a safe community, that they can ask questions of these ladies, reach out to these ladies, and feel like they're at the table with these women. It isn't so much that they're offering this show just for people to watch, but also to participate in and be part of. I just think that they're cutting edge on the spiritual realm. And I can't wait to see them all standing fully in their ministry and fully in their leadership in this way.
I love what Sally DeRosa just wrote. It's like a symphony. Exactly. It is like a symphony. And thank you, Sally, for putting that comment in there, and that we need this everywhere. Chameleon, thank you for typing that in also. We do need this everywhere. And you know, there's something that I've found that's really interesting that through my experience through live streaming is that there is a certain trust factor that we accomplish with our audience. That's something I wanted to kind of explore with each of you, because this is going to be really kind of a sacred space, what you are creating here. I'd like to explore that just a little bit with you. Teri, could you go into that just a little bit about, you know, what kind of space do you want to create for the people who are watching and that are going to be watching next week?
Great question, Karen. And absolutely, and we've touched on this. We have a disclaimer. We're not medical professionals. We're not psychiatrists. We are women with a heart to serve. And we are making it a sacred space, a safe place for people to listen, take what resonates. And, you know, if it doesn't resonate, then that's okay too. You heard us, you heard our voice. But that's what I see happening, is this is a place where anything goes. You know, we're free to express ourselves, and the listeners, and hopefully they'll interact with us, they're free to respond to that, to what we have to say. So absolutely, we have a responsibility in being on the air and being heard, our voices being heard. So we want to look at that and take that responsibility. When I open my mouth, what am I saying? What am I putting out there? What energy am I bringing forward? And I want to always bring an energy of a positive message. And it's not going to be a doom and gloom show for sure. You know, there's lots of things happening, lots to talk about, but we want to focus on what are the solutions. And like, you know, Sheila, her focus is on this new human that's evolving, and how are we fitting into that? How are we fitting into this world once we're on this other side of what's going on right now globally? So that's my input. I just want it to be a safe container, but one that we can express ourselves, and anybody can take it, you know, for whatever they want with it. If they resonate, good. If they don't, that's okay. Go on to the next one.
And I love that. And Sheila, can you tell us a little bit about that, the new human, and how we are evolving as a humanity? I mean, I really feel like we are evolving as a humanity. And you've been exploring this for a long time. Could you go a little bit into that with, again, the same thing, that trust factor? You know, the people who are watching this, the people who are going to be watching your show every week, there's a real communication that happens in live stream. I'd love for you to explore that with our human evolution.
Well, the interesting thing about the new human is that, unlike other paradigms, you know, it's not set in stone. So it's not about, you know, these are particularly the qualities that we, you know, must have and so forth. It is evolving. And so it's always an exploration to, as we synthesize together and as we synchronize together, and we a composite picture begins to be revealed. So it's very dynamic, and and it's always evolving forward. And it's about the collective and the collective consciousness. All of us together are finding out really where it is that we need to go. So it's very different than having set principles or a set philosophy of how we need to be. It's really about what is the reality, what is the edge, how can we get there? And it's not any one person or one group's determination. It's all of us together, synchronizing together and just watching the picture unfold.
And asking that question, what else is possible, right? Just what else is possible? That's the beauty of that. And Liz, you do that so beautifully. I'd love to hear your take on the sacred space that you're creating, because you do that so beautifully. And I just want to invite you to share a little bit with the audience about why it's important to have a sacred space.
Well, what I'm thinking as I'm listening to the other ladies here speak is that what is going to be sacred about this, I believe, is that we don't all have the same perspective, but we're going to be willing to share our authentic perspectives and recognize, as Sheila was saying, that we can be in synchronicity, even though we come from a different place. So I think it's going to be really fascinating to see, as we address various topics, how each of us brings our own unique perspective, our own experiences, our own wisdom, and yet we can do this in a place that's safe, where there's trust, there's friendship, there's spirituality, there's authenticity, all of these values that we actually spent time talking about. We actually did an exercise to determine what were the most important values to us, and we could agree on those. We could agree on the things that were really important, but that doesn't mean that we are each going to agree on where we need to go from here or what's next or what steps we take. That's going to be what's fascinating about it, I think. We're also none of us have an agenda. And I think oftentimes you see today, even whether it's the news media or whatever, that there's an agenda there. I don't think we have an agenda. I think we just want to create a space where we can have these authentic conversations. We call it, our tagline is Candid Conversations that envision a new future. So we are here to envision that, and then each of us can determine how we might go about creating that, affecting that change. So I'm just excited to see where these conversations go. I think they're going to be fabulous. I think they're going to be incredibly interesting. And I think it's going to open things up for anyone who's a part of that.
Yeah. And Mira, you also are really sharing so much about sustainability, the importance of our world, and how we, really need to have more respect for our world. And I think that your perspective is going to be such a important perspective to bring to this. Where do you feel it might be necessary for people to feel more safe about talking about these topics?
So I think the trust factor that we're creating is that each of us has deep respect for one another. And even if we disagree, I expect that we will disagree, and maybe even passionately, which is kind of a wonderful thing to be able to model for people, how we can have passionate disagreement and still deep connection. What I see, one of the areas that I think is going to be very important for us to discuss is our responsibility for the planet. And we have had a global crisis before this pandemic that people were not awake to. And what I see is the potential to be allowing our connection to activate people to a broader picture And the words are apt, broader edge, broader picture. I think that's what we're up to. But the thing that we're doing is we're creating a space for true candor by providing respect and trust for one another, despite any disagreements we may have. Yeah.
Love that. And Ruth, for the Enlightened World Network, you have created a beautiful sanctuary of trust amongst many of the light workers. What do you feel is going to be really bringing this to the public? How do you feel it's going to be really helpful to people?
Well, first of all, I really believe this whole idea was Archangel Michael's and Archangel Raphael's. The other day when we were meeting, Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael stood up and took credit for bringing these four together. So I know for that reason, there's a need for it. And I know for that reason that there will be a response of being open to it.
That's so beautiful. What a beautiful.
Can I just say, one of the things that I think is really important is that we're going to be addressing tough questions. We're going to not just be addressing the light and love in the world, because there are other aspects that we all have to contend with as human beings on the planet. And I think that to be able to tackle those questions and those issues from a place of light is something that's really, really important. And so looking at the tough aspects too is to me, I think that that's something that we're going to be offering as a rare gift, to be able to look at the not so pretty side of things sometimes and bring it into the light.
I'm kind of excited to see where we go with this idea of the rise of the divine feminine. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really interesting that we have women stepping up as leaders at this time, particularly with that spiritual foundation, but also, that's why we kind of went with the broader edge. I mean, it's not airy-fairy. This is really solid stuff, but from a place of the strength of the divine feminine, strength and compassion of the divine feminine. And so I think you're going to really see that play out. We hope that is our intent, to play that out every time we are live with you, and I look forward to seeing that in action.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that you brought that up, Liz, because my heritage is Native American, and in the Native American culture, the grandmother was the one that everyone went to for the wise counsel. She was the one that that really taught in the tribe. So I love this, that we are following that tradition as well. We're bringing our wisdom and we're bringing our different opinions. I just love that. And there's not going to be any cat fights, but but we will respect each other when we do have a difference of opinion. I just love that we will feel free enough to speak our minds. And that broader edge, I just love it. The whole thing just so resonates as something very positive, something expansive. And that's what my hope is, that it's going to be topics and discussions that will make you think and really get you to go into that place inside that you might not get from TV, other places that might draw your attention. So I'm very excited about this show.
Our group was actually rooted in an empowerment group. So, this all sprung out of the desire for real empowerment, which doesn't mean power. It means clarity, and it means confidence and ease and creativity. And that's what we really seek to, we hope that people come away from the show feeling empowered.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have each of you share a little bit of the backstory of who you are, and maybe just a little bit about why this was so exciting for you to become involved in this. Maybe you could start, Liz.
So the business that I run is called Awe Partners, and it's a social impact advisory firm. So my focus is on the social impact space, so all of our social ills, and how to get women more involved through the way that they give, invest, and shop, make their impact in the world. But I'm very drawn to issues around women and girls empowerment globally. And so the issue of empowerment is actually Awe Partners stands for Authentic Women Empowered. So I'm very interested in empowering women and girls. And I think this is a great example of how we can do that by stepping up and into our responsibilities and our opportunities to share all that we have to share in the world. And that's what I would love to inspire others to do the same. So that's where I come from, and that's what my hope is.
It's wonderful. And the best place for people to find out more about you?
So my website is awepartners.com, awepartners.com, and I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Beautiful. And Mira?
Well, I come from a checkered past, we'll say. I've been in pursuit of or dedicated to self-development and awakening for most of my life. And I had a revelation a couple of years ago that connected me to my mission and purpose in terms of really spreading sustainability and sustainable practices on the planet. And the other part of sustainability that people don't necessarily attend to is the consciousness factor. And until we shift our consciousness, we're not going to be able to create a sustainable world. So I do have a coaching practice, and it's transformational coaching, where we really do shift the very foundation of being. And as a result, people do extraordinary things with their lives and out of commitment to other people in the world. So for me, this is an embodiment of the practical spiritual piece, to be able to take a broader perspective and a perspective of light to the world in a practical way. And I see our conversations as embodying that. And so that's where I come from with this.
And best way for people to connect with you, Mira?
My coaching website is yourcore, C-O-R-E, connection.com. And I'm on Facebook. But if you want my information about sustainability now is the environmental or the sustainability piece, you can text my name, Mira, M-I-R-A, to 64600, and it'll give you a link to my digital business card that has all my contact information. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's really wonderful. And Teri, how has this been for you that brought you to this?
Well, what it's always been for me, to be able to speak out, to be able to make an impact, to make a difference. My network is Angel Speakers that started about 6 years ago. And I've always been that person that wants to bring people together to help empower women. I've done empowerment retreats. And I feel like this is going to be something that really does give people that sense of, I can do something. I can get involved. I can speak my opinion. So that was really something I was jumping at the opportunity of, yes, let's do this. It felt good. It felt like it was, the time was right. The opportunity was right to speak out and speak up and let our voices be heard. I love each of these women that are involved in this, and especially our dear Ruth Anderson, who has taken us under the wing with Enlightened World, and just so thrilled to be a part of this. I am a happiness coach, and I love helping people to examine themselves and find that power inside of themselves. And I think that's what we're going to offer.
I love that, Teri. What's the best way for people to connect with you?
Angelspeakers.com.
I love that. And Sheila?
Yes, and so I am a new human master coach, also an ambassador for conscious evolution, and that was coming out of Barbara Marx Hubbard's group of mentees. So I have always been about transformational consciousness. I have courses in cellular consciousness and epigenetics, and also teach sensory development for the last couple of decades around collective consciousness and how to tap into global thinking. And so what brings me to at this particular time is the transformational empowerment and the consciousness that we're going to be exploring and moving into together. It was just a perfect collaboration at the perfect time.
Beautiful. And the best way for people to connect with you, Sheila?
So they can go to my website, SheilaCash.com. They can also reach me at a Facebook group called Epigenetics and the New Human. And I'm on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Awesome. That's so awesome. And Ruth, can you share a little bit about, I know you said Archangel Michael has been so instrumental in giving you the thumbs up that this is definitely something to move forward on. But can you give just a little backstory around the Enlightened World Network and how people can connect with that also?
Sure. About 6 years ago, Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael basically told me, lovingly guided me to create Enlightened World, which supports light workers. And to me, a light worker is anyone who brings divine light into the world. Doesn't matter what your vocation is, but the fact that you love, respect, and bring in divine light, that's who Enlightened World is for. Enlightened World Network is an outreach of that gives folks the opportunity to have their podcasts up where folks might notice it a little more than just standing on their own. So this whole thing is to support light workers and to give other folks that are new to spirituality and new to energy work a platform to be able to go in and learn more about it. So my life, the last 6 years, has really been living a life of being a conduit for Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael in the creation of this. And so if anybody wants to know more about that or more about my work with it, you can go to enlightenedworld.online to see the website presence, or go to Enlightened World Network on Facebook or YouTube, and it's all there.
Right, and you also have blogs there that people can write, and you've got beautiful, beautiful meditations that you're doing daily, and there's just so many ways that people can become involved with Enlightened World Network on several different levels. And it's all, they can go to enlightenedworld.online and really just about learn anything that they'd like to learn more about. And then you have pretty much programming through Facebook that all they have to do is like the page, and they'll get notifications when any of your beautiful programs are live. So I just think it's amazing. And Teri, thank you so much for bringing all of these beautiful women together for Thankful Thursday. I just want to say I am so grateful. Beyond words, really, that can even put into the experience of having you all here right now. I feel like there is some beautiful divine assignment that has just been unleashed on our world, and I just feel so honored to be part of the premiere of what you're going to be bringing to our world. And I want to thank you so much, Teri, for having me co-host with you on Thankful Thursday. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you.
Thank you, Karen. And This is our normal time to do this. We're usually on every week. We are going to be sharing our time slot with the Broader Edge. So we'll be on 1 week, which is now, and then the following week will be the Broader Edge show, and we'll alternate. So Karen, I really appreciate you and just love you dearly. We've co-created so many things over the years, and this is one show that has kept going, and just love it. Yeah, love it. And thank you for being here with us today.
Who couldn't love Gratitude Happy Hour, right?
No. So I would like to end the show with some gratitude. So would each of you just take a moment and just share your gratitude for today? I'm grateful for breath. I am so grateful that I'm still alive. Okay, first of all, every morning when I wake up, I say, thank you, God, I'm alive. I have another day, another chance, another opportunity to make an impact some way in this world. So my gratitude is there's another day. I love it. And I love the energy of just doing that, going into gratitude. So can we do that? Who would like to share their gratitude?
I'm so deeply grateful for this pause in our mad race to not what I was perceiving as destruction. I really see that this is a miracle of a gift, to be able to have humanity as a global community stop and reevaluate and reassess. I'm so deeply grateful for it.
Mira, I'm going to pop in because that's exactly what I was going to say. And I, not just the global pause, but I really have appreciated my own pause, that I took the time to honor what was happening and what it's meant for my own reflection and connection and reevaluation. And I want it to end, but I almost don't want it to end, at least not too quickly, because I think there's just so much richness in it, and I want to savor it while I can.
I'm very grateful right now, especially for the increased connections. I was hearing people talking about being isolated and the social distancing, but for me in my life, it seemed to double or triple. I had people have been reaching out to me who I haven't heard from for years past. Our family has gotten together, even this virtual Easter dinner. Normally some won't be able to get together because they couldn't travel for one reason or the other. But this way we were all able to be together. So the connections have just gotten richer and deeper and more abundant. And especially during this springtime, which is such a time of renewal, as I look out the windows and I'm out, a little bit here and there, I live in the land of cherry blossoms, here in the DC area. And these beautiful flowers and cherry blossoms just remind me that life is continuing to renew and renew all the time, despite what else might be happening. So those are the things that I'm grateful for right now.
And as I look at each of you women, all 5 of you, I am so grateful for the thread of divine light that I see shining out of every single one of you. Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful and appreciative that you all heard the whisper or the nudging or the loud speaking of spirit and responded. Not just this point in your life, but all of those points in your life that brought you to this point in your life. I'm very grateful for all of you.
Mm.
Oh, I'm grateful. I'm super grateful for the way that our humanity has realized that kindness and compassion is a power, and it's an influence that can really change our planet. And I just want to say I'm so grateful for so many people who have stepped up and have really heard, like Ruth said, heard the call and realized that they could be of service. And the amazing community, support that in my own little town that I've seen, I just have witnessed. Didn't know that there were hundreds of families that would not be able to eat if there weren't organizations coming together to give them food every day. Our community has come together and really recognized the people who are in these very, very difficult times. And not only did they just not turn their head and say, oh, I'm sorry that you're having a difficult time, they stepped up and they said, I have more than enough. A second grader said to me, because I teach in the schools, and a second grader said to me when I asked, what does peace on earth look like? And he said, peace on earth will happen when everyone remembers that they have more than enough and they want to share. Mm-hmm. And that to me just really, really hit home with this experience. I'm so grateful for all the people who have more than enough who are wanting to share. And I'm grateful that I have more than enough and that I can share. I'm honored and really, really to be in the place where I am right now, where I have more than enough and I want to share. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for all the people who are in a place where they have more than enough and they want to share. And I'm grateful for the people who are in a difficult situation and are not afraid to ask.
Beautiful, Karen. So beautiful. You know, Karen and I were brought together with kindness. I was doing random acts of kindness at the time that we connected on Facebook, and that's how our journey began. And Karen as Miss.
We're all saying 6 years. We all heard the call in 2014, I think, and I really feel that was a very monumental year for many people.
It really was. And Karen is known as Miss Kindness, and you all see why. Her heart is bigger than the universe. And thank you, Karen, so much for being a partner in crime with me and for being here today with these lovely ladies. My heart is so full. Thank you all for joining us today. We do at Enlightened World, we do what's called a day of transformation. And we had one particular guest on that was leading us, and he left us with this message of, aren't we beautiful? And I want us all to really, really feel that. We're so beautiful. And keep that foremost in your heart, just how beautiful our souls are. And let's spread that beauty far and wide. I love you all so much. Thank you again for being here today. And next Thursday, it will be the premiere of The Broader Edge, 5:00 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope that you'll tune in, and I hope that you'll give us good feedback. Just let us know if this show appeals, and once you watch it, we'd love feedback from you. What can we do to serve you? That's what we want to do. That's where our hearts are. So we've enjoyed being here, and thank you to everyone that watched on Facebook or everyone who will watch the replay. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you may be. We love you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.